What is good, everybody? AHS Rules, back again with another video, as we're here for another Ring of Honor TV review, episode number 96, a special edition of Ring of Honor, as is entitled Boxing Day Brawl. It is also the last Ring of Honor TV review of 2024. It is also the first ROH TV review since Final Battle, which took place last week. I will say in advance, I will try my best not to cough, but I try to film this twice now, and it just happens. It gets bad. So I'm going to try to avoid like that, but we'll see what happens. There's a lot to go over during this course of ROH on Honor Club. I will discuss some things about Final Battle during this. We had some surprises on this episode, so there is that to look forward to. The one thing about Final Battle I will say, because I really want to get this off my chest, because it sucked. World Heavyweight Championship match. It was what it was. Now there's a glimmer of hope and something to look forward to, because after the match, former Ring of Honor World Champion Bandito made his return, and it was a great thing to see because he has been out of action for over a year, and that sucks. So it was nice to see him finally return, just to immediately get concussed, and it just sucked everything out of the room. It made things worse, and any chance to see a Bandito Ring of Honor will be a bit delayed as we wait for him to recover, so I'm using this time to wish him the very best, and we'll see what happens. So, like I said, some other Final Battle notes will be noted. Things will be noted during the course of the review. Like I said, we got some surprises that happened on this week's episode of ROH, so let's just go ahead and start talking about the episode. So our opening contest was Blake Christian versus AR Fox. No code of honor. Fox takes offense to this by hitting a shooting star press off of the apron. Later, Christian hits a tope suicida and then keeps the attack going on the outside. Fox eventually retaliates with his own and a swanton bomb for a 2 count. Christian Spanish Fly gets a 2 count, and then Christian tries to bring a chair into the ring, but the referee stops him from doing so, setting Fox up to hit a dive and a 450 splash for a 2 count. Then Fox himself thinks about using the steel chair, but eventually hands it over to the referee, setting Christian up to hit a low blow and a double foot stomp to win the matchup. Next matchup is Serpentico versus Lee Johnson. Lots of roll-up attempts by Serpentico. He has a chance to change things up once he's intimidated. He has to change things up once he is intimidated by Ndoku on the outside, and is eventually hit with a choke slam by him, setting up Lee Johnson to win off of a brain buster. Next matchup is Tony D. Sadari Davari versus Tommy Billington and Katsuyori Shibata. Billington and Davari start the match off, with Billington immediately getting stuck in his opponent's corner. Spending some time, outnumbered by the premier athletes, he eventually taps Davari out via a crossface, but the referee's back is turned. He is able to kick out of a Nice 450 splash. Then Shibata is able to tag in and takes out the other members of the premier athletes, letting Billington hit a headbutt and follows it up with a penalty kick to win the matchup. So need to take a... I'll say this. This next thing is one of the surprises, but, it's kind of a bit of a spoiler alert because I'm probably going to put it in the title of this video because it is a big deal. But the in-ring Ring of Honor debut of Toni Storm as she faces Rebecca Scott. Now, a little behind the scenes. When I first tried to film this, I said, Tony Nese. Very, very awkward for two people to have the same name, compete back-to-back matches, and I really freaking struggled trying to cover this damn match because of it. But it is Toni Storm making her ROH debut versus Rebecca Scott. Back and forth early, but this changes once Storm reverses a crossbody into a backbreaker, followed up by a hip attack and Storm 0 for the win. As now, we get our throwback match of the week. A soccer riot match between Nigel McGuinness and Colt Cabana from the Night of Grudges 2 on August 20th, 2005. Now I will say that I have two Nigel McGuinness DVDs. And this match is on at least one of them, maybe both of them. At any time this match played, I never really, comprehended what was going on and what made this, a big deal or any different than a regular match. But, essentially, a Soccer Riot Rules match is just an anything-goes match with the main weapon of choice being a soccer ball. And all this is demonstrated as ball shots, kicks, punches, chops, elbows were all legal, and Cabana did all of those things to demonstrate it and showcase it. Then he takes the match up to the outside, where then some chairs are thrown at Nigel, and eventually he is thrown down the stairs inside the crowd. Nigel gets a bit of an advantage once it makes it back in the ring, and eventually throws the soccer ball, or kicks the soccer ball, into Cabana, with Cabana later doing the same thing. Then the two battle on the apron, leaning over the table that was at ringside, with Cabana eventually being pushed through it. Then Nigel attempts his rebound lariat, but gets caught with a lariat of Cabana's, and Cabana wins the matchup. So now we go to a tag team matchup with another one of our surprises on this episode. It is QT Marshall and Aaron Solo versus Rocky Romero, and returning to Ring of Honor, former tag partner of Rocky Romero, and former Ring of Honor World Champion, Hammerstein. Hammerstein and QT start the bout off, with QT not really wanting any part of it, which is fitting because at some point he does get bit in the ear by Hammerstein. Romero has trouble once he is tagged in, but eventually is able to avoid all of it after hitting a Shiragoye. Solo and QT's backdrop neckbreaker gets a 2 count, and then Romero hits a big dive on QT on the outside, with Homicide hitting a cutter and lariat to win the matchup, with the Rottweiler members being victorious. So we get another tag team matchup up next, this being MXM Collection versus Dustin Waller and Kylon King. But the main story was before the match. They showcased what happened at Final Battle, and essentially it is MXM being distraught after losing to Atlantis Jr. and being very upset at a returning Danhausen because they feel that he cost Mansoor the chance to win at Final Battle. No tip touching or code of honor as Waller and Mansoor start the match off. We get lots of posing by the MXM Collection, and they win off of the centerfold. And this will not be the last that we see of them on this episode. Speaking of last and episode, the last episode of Rampage is scheduled to take place tonight, as this is being uploaded. And it will feature Chris Jericho versus Anthony Bowens. As someone that regularly tuned into Rampage and liked Rampage, and, it was historical in a sense and had some big moments take place, it sucks that it is disappearing, and I felt that they could have made a better effort with Rampage over definitely the last year, probably last 2 years, but, the decision's already been made. So, long live Rampage. At least we still have ROH TV. Now, another surprise is what happens here. And the big thing that happened at Final Battle was a team. Her name's not Athena. Her name is Athena. I apologize, Queen. I apologize. But Athena was able to defeat Billy Starks once again, retaining the Ring of Honor Women's Championship. Now, there's lots of ways you could really think about this and where it goes and why it happened and whatnot. I wasn't really bothered by it. I was a bit shocked, a little bit. But it's just going to be interesting to see what direction that we go into. And we kind of get a glimpse of that here, as we have a minion expulsion meeting. Someone is getting expelled. Athena, Billy, and Lexi are all in the ring. And Athena tells Billy she has been nothing but problems for a long time. And even after all this time, she still sucks. But at least she's still young. And look at Lexi. Lexi was the MIT valedictorian and Minion Bestie, which, you know what's actually crazy about that? That stuff's like over a year old. That's actually kind of crazy, because that feels like yesterday, but none of that stuff really matters now. Because Lexi is the one that's being expelled because she gave Athena a mediocre introduction at Final Battle. She did not wear a matching penguin costume to her Toothface, which I did appreciate the Toothface Titantron at Final Battle, because like it was the coin. It would like flip back and forth. I like that. And she almost cost her the match once again. So Lexi has been expelled, and Athena tells Billy, it's just me and you now. So we'll see what damage those two are able to do. As I will say that Athena has to worry about Wrestle Dynasty, as that is next weekend. Granted, this is that, I've said this in several of my videos, this is that time of the year where all the damn days blend in together. So the fact that I'm able to remember that that is next weekend and not this, you know, it is what it is. So we get to our main event this week, a TV title match between Komander and Johhny TV. And Final Battle, Komander won the Survival of the Fittest match and became the new television champion. And immediately is putting it on the line. Komander has been a very busy person because he's also been in the damn Continental Classic. So I don't know what you would consider the side quest. I think many people would consider this the side quest. But granted, at this point, his Continental Classic runs are done. So it is what it is. But Johhny TV is accompanied by the MXM collection until they go into the crowd. And Johhny spends a lot of time flexing, I guess, because of this, maybe. I don't know. But lots of flexing by Johhny TV. Eventually, he hits a standing moonsault. Komander hits a Hurricane Rana for a close 2 count, and a Canadian Destroyer for another close 2 count. Then we get back-to-back neck breakers by Johhny TV that gives him a 2 count. Komander then attempts his rope walk shooting star, but the MXM appear at ringside, and he decides to dive onto them. Then Komander moves out of the way of a Johhny TV Starship Pain, hitting his rope walk shooting star to win the matchup and end this episode of Ring of Honor Wrestling, as this is again the last of 2024. I kind of feel that with the holidays, I'm trying to think, what the hell? I think next Thursday, will that be the 1st or the 2nd? It would be the 2nd, because Wednesday would be the 1st, and Tuesday is New Year's Eve. So what I'm trying to get at is it's very weird, you know, to put into perspective, like, all of 2024 into, like, one wrap. It would be extremely difficult to do, so that's why I'm not going to do it, but it's another year in the books, I guess I should be able to say. So I'm not trying to overextend my stay, because I've had a rough December. I've had a rough week. Like I said, I'm trying to film this twice. This is the 3rd time I try to film it, so this is successful. It's done. But the first 2 times, I started coughing like a MFer, and it sucked. So it is what it is. So there's a lot of different things that I could say and whatnot, but the main thing that I'll say, and the thing that, you know, I need to say, I do appreciate y'all for watching this video. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one, because I'm out for now. Goodbye.